The trading post on the edge of the galaxy was a place where no one cared about kindness. It was filled with noise, with smoke, with rough traders shouting prices. Humans rarely came here, but Daniel had work. He was just passing through, hoping to find fuel and some supplies for his small ship. He never expected that his path would cross with something that would change his life forever. In the corner of the dusty marketplace, an old alien woman struggled to carry a basket. Her back was bent, her arms shaking. She looked fragile, like one strong wind could knock her down. Other aliens passed her without a glance. Some laughed quietly, mocking her weakness. None offered to help. In this place, the weak were forgotten. Daniel stopped. His human heart did not allow him to walk away. He knew that in places like this, showing kindness was sometimes dangerous. It could make him a target. Yet he also knew he could not just ignore her. Slowly, he stepped closer. "Do you need help?" he asked. His voice was calm, but he felt a few eyes turn toward him. A human helping an alien granny. It was not something the traders saw every day. The old woman lifted her wrinkled face. Her skin was pale, almost silver. Her eyes cloudy but deep, she whispered in a voice that cracked like old wood. "No one asks that here, not for a long time." Daniel smiled gently. He took the basket from her trembling hands and carried it with ease. The old alien's eyes widened for a moment, and he thought he saw a faint glow, so quick, he almost believed it was his imagination. They walked together across the market. Daniel asked her where she lived. She pointed to a small broken hut on the far side. The path was muddy, scattered with broken metal and trash. The smell of oil and smoke filled the air. Inside the hut, Daniel saw almost nothing. No food, no clean water, only a small mat on the floor. He set the basket down and turned to her. "You should not live like this," he said softly. "Where is your family?" Her lips trembled. She shook her head slowly. "Gone. All gone. Time took them. Time takes everything," she said. Her voice was heavy with sorrow. Yet when she looked at him, there was something sharp in her gaze, as if she was testing him. Daniel pulled a small food pack from his own bag. He gave it to her. She hesitated, then took it with hands that trembled more than before. When she ate, her strength seemed to return a little. She looked younger for a moment, and her eyes, yes, they truly glowed faintly this time. He sat with her, listening as she spoke about years of loneliness, about being ignored by everyone, about how no one respected the old. Daniel felt anger in his chest. He hated how cruel the galaxy could be. Yet something inside him also felt unsettled. Her words sounded too careful, too measured, like she was guiding him toward something. Outside, the noise of the market faded into the background. Inside the hut, time felt slower. Daniel rubbed his forehead, feeling suddenly heavy. The old woman leaned closer, her voice a whisper, almost too soft to hear. "You are different. You do not see me as useless. That is why you will see more." He frowned, not sure what she meant. Her hand touched his wrist. Cold, yet filled with strange warmth at the same time. In that brief touch, his mind flashed with strange visions. A temple in ruins, a sky burning with light. And her, not as an old woman, but standing tall, radiant, and powerful. Daniel gasped and pulled his hand back. The vision ended. The old woman's face was once again wrinkled and weak. She gave him a small smile, almost playful. "Do not be afraid. It is only the beginning." He stood, unsettled. "What was that? What did you do?" he demanded. But she only looked at him with those cloudy, glowing eyes. Outside, footsteps approached. Daniel turned and saw two large alien guards passing by. They glanced inside the hut. One of them snorted. "Still alive, old ghost? Not for long." They laughed and walked away. Daniel clenched his fists, anger rising. But when he turned back to her, she did not look sad. Instead, she looked calm, as if she had been waiting. "Do not waste your anger on them," she said, quietly. "Save it. You will need it soon. The air grew colder. Daniel shivered. He realized this meeting was no accident. Something about her was not normal. She was more than what she showed. As he prepared to leave, she whispered one final sentence, words in a language he did not understand. The sound of it shook the walls. Daniel felt a strange chill run down his spine. His vision blurred for a second, and he knew this was only the start of something far greater. He looked back at her, and for the briefest moment, the frail alien granny was gone. In her place stood a shadow of a younger, radiant figure, watching him with burning eyes. Then, just as quickly it was gone, leaving only the fragile old woman smiling softly. Daniel stepped out into the market, his heart racing. He did not know why, but he felt that his life had just changed. Something ancient had touched him, and it would not let go. The market did not forget what it saw that day. A human helping an alien granny was already strange, but the whispers began for another reason. The old woman had lived there for decades, ignored, mocked, treated as dust in the wind. Yet after Daniel's visit, something about her seemed to shift. Merchants in the stalls muttered that her eyes had glowed. Children swore they saw shadows follow her hut. Traders from distant systems whispered of an ancient tale. They spoke of a demigoddess once feared across the stars, a being who could turn weak and frail to test the hearts of mortals. They called her by many names: the Silver Flame, the Hidden, Bride, the Voice of the Forgotten. Daniel heard fragments of these rumors as he moved through the trading post. He tried to ignore them, telling himself it was just superstition. Yet the memory of the vision still haunted him. The temple, the fire, the radiant figure. He told himself it was an illusion, a trick of exhaustion, but his heart did not believe his mind. At night, Daniel lay in the small room he had rented. The walls were thin, the sound of the market still reaching him, but when he closed his eyes, he heard her voice. It was not the broken whisper of an old woman, it was strong, smooth and powerful. The voice spoke in a language he did not understand, yet somehow his soul trembled as if it knew. He woke with sweat on his forehead. His heart pounded. He tried to calm himself, but then he noticed something strange. On the small table beside him lay a flower, silver in color, glowing faintly. He had locked the door, no one could have entered. Yet the flower was there, and its scent filled the room with warmth. Daniel picked it up, his hand tingled. He dropped it quickly. The flower melted into light and vanished. He sat frozen, realizing he could no longer deny the truth. The old alien was not what she seemed. The next day he went back to the hut. She was waiting for him as if she knew he would come. Her cloudy eyes studied him, and a faint smile touched her lips. The whispers reached you, did they not? She said. Daniel nodded. They say you are a goddess, that you were once powerful, he said carefully. The old woman chuckled softly. Rumors are like smoke. They twist, they vanish, but sometimes they are born from fire. She leaned closer, her voice low. Do you believe them? Daniel hesitated. He wanted to say no, but the memory of the visions burned in his mind. He finally said, I don't know what to believe, but I know you are not just an old woman. Her smile widened. Good. You see with your heart, not just your eyes, she whispered. Then she pointed to the ground. There is a place hidden, forgotten. I must go there, and you will take me. Daniel frowned. Why me? Because you helped me when no one else dared, she replied. Because you touched me without fear, and because whether you know it or not, you are already marked. His blood went cold. Marked? What do you mean? He asked. She lifted, her sleeve showing faint lines glowing on her skin. Then she reached for his arm. When her hand touched his wrist again, he saw the same faint glow under his flesh, like hidden fire. Daniel jerked his hand back. What did you do to me? I gave you a gift, she said. It cannot be undone. The whispers will follow you now. The galaxy will know you carry my sign. Daniel's heart raced. He felt trapped, caught between fear and fascination. He wanted to run, yet part of him could not leave her side. Outside the hut, voices grew louder. Two alien merchants argued, their words carried into the room. She should not be alive. If it is true, if she really is the demigoddess, then the empires will come. They will not allow her to return. The old woman's eyes gleamed. Do you hear them? Already they tremble. Daniel looked at her sharply. And what about me? Do I also have to tremble? She rose slowly from her mat, her back straightening, her frailty fading for a moment. Her voice deepened. You will walk with me, or you will fall with the others. There is no third path. Daniel clenched his fists. The choice seemed impossible, yet he felt a pull deep inside, an invisible thread binding him to her. He thought of leaving the planet, of flying far away, but some part of him already knew. She would find him wherever he went. That night, the whispers of the market grew into shouts. Aliens gathered in, groups pointing toward her hut. Fear spread like fire. Some wanted her gone, others wanted to worship her. Daniel stood guard outside. He did not know why, but he felt the need to protect her. The stars above seemed brighter, and once again he heard her voice inside his head, whispering promises of power. When he entered the hut, she was sitting in silence, but her eyes burned like twin suns. It is time, she said softly. The temple calls us, you will come. Daniel's throat felt dry. He wanted to refuse, but the words would not form. Instead, he found himself nodding slowly. His fate was no longer his alone. As the night deepened, the trading post buzzed with fear and curiosity. Somewhere in the shadows, agents of distant empires wrote reports. Somewhere across the stars, ancient enemies stirred. And in a small broken hut, a human and a frail alien granny prepared to walk a path that would shake the galaxy. The journey to the hidden place began before sunrise. Daniel had not slept. His dreams had been filled with strange voices and burning skies. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the frail alien granny standing tall, shining with power that could not belong to any ordinary being. She walked beside him slowly, leaning on her stick. Yet Daniel noticed something odd. The farther they left the market, behind, the straighter her back became. Her steps grew stronger, and her voice when she spoke was clearer. It was as if every mile carried her closer to herself. The planet's surface was harsh. Rust-colored soil stretched out to the horizon. Sharp cliffs rose like jagged teeth, and the wind carried the taste of metal. Few dared to leave the trade routes, but she guided Daniel with confidence, always pointing to paths hidden by rocks and old carvings. How do you know this way? Daniel asked, wiping sweat from his forehead. She smiled faintly. I walked this path before you were born, before your species learned to reach the stars. Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to laugh at the absurdity of her words, but he could not. Something inside him told him she spoke the truth. After hours of silence, they reached a canyon. At the bottom lay ruins, stone half buried under centuries of sand. Symbols glowed faintly on broken walls. Even from a distance, Daniel felt the air change. The wind grew colder, and the ground hummed under his boots. This is it, she whispered. Her frail voice carried power now. Like a song from the deep past, Daniel stared down at the ruins. His instincts screamed to turn back. Yet his body moved forward, following her without resistance. They descended carefully, the shadows of the canyon closing in around them. As they entered the ruins, Daniel felt the weight of history press down. The walls were etched with spirals and stars, glowing faintly as if the stone itself remembered. Strange whispers filled the air, not in words he knew, but in sounds that made his heart beat faster. The old woman walked into the center of a crumbling hall. She placed her hand on a stone altar, her eyes closed, and her lips moved. Ancient words spilled out, words that vibrated in Daniel's bones. The walls responded, symbols lit up, one after another. Light crawled across the stone like rivers of fire. Daniel staggered back, his skin prickling. What are you doing? He shouted. Her voice rose, steady and commanding. I am opening the gate that should never have been closed. Daniel's fear grew. He wanted to drag her away, but his legs felt heavy, as if unseen chains bound him. He tried to step back, but his body froze, his breath quickened. The frail skin of the old woman seemed to ripple. Her back straightened fully, her arms lifted with strength no elder should have. The wrinkles melted from her face. Her hair, once thin and dull, shimmered with silver light. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. He was no longer looking at a weak alien granny. Before him stood a figure glowing with youth and terrible beauty. Her eyes blazed like suns, her skin shimmered like polished stone, and her presence filled the entire hall. What are you?" Daniel whispered. His voice shook. She turned, her smile no longer fragile but sharp. "What you already knew, but would not admit. I am no beggar. I am no forgotten elder. I am what your kind would call a goddess, but in truth I am more." Her voice was silk and thunder together. Daniel's knees weakened. The whispers in the air turned into a chant, and the stones themselves seemed to bow to her. She stepped closer, her beauty overwhelming. Daniel tried to look away but could not. She reached out and touched his chest. Heat surged through him, his vision blurred, and he saw flashes again. Armies kneeling, galaxies burning, a throne of light, and her standing upon it. "Why me?" Daniel gasped. "Because you offered me kindness when I was nothing," she replied softly, though her eyes blazed with command. "Because you carried my burden when others spat at me. That small act bound you to me. You cannot walk away now." Her hand glowed brighter. Daniel's body trembled. He fell to one knee, breathless. Every nerve screamed with both pain and pleasure. His mind swam with power too great to understand. "Stop, you'll kill me," he cried. She leaned down, her lips close to his ear. "No, Daniel, I will make you more." The chamber shook. Dust rained from the ceiling outside the canyon. A low rumble echoed as if the planet itself stirred. Daniel managed to pull away, collapsing against the altar. His chest burned. His veins glowed faintly with silver light. He gasped for air, staring at her. She stood taller now, radiant and terrifying, her form shifting between beauty and shadow. "This is only the beginning," she said. Her voice carried both promise and threat. "The galaxy will soon remember my name, and you, Daniel, will stand at my side, whether you wish to or not." Daniel's breath caught. His body shook. He wanted to run, to escape. But the glowing lines on his skin told him there was no escape. As the ruins roared with ancient energy, Daniel realized the truth. The frail alien granny was gone forever, and in her place stood a demigoddess who had chosen him as her companion. Her reward was already shaping his fate, and his life would never again belong to him alone. The ruins trembled as if the planet itself remembered her return. Dust fell from the high ceiling and cracks glowed with streams of silver light. Daniel staggered back, clutching his chest. His heart pounded wildly, his breath short. The frail old woman he had helped was no more. Before him stood a vision both breathtaking and terrifying. Her body shimmered with light, her skin flawless, her hair flowing like molten silver. Her eyes burned with golden fire, and every step she took filled the air with waves of power. She no longer needed her stick, no longer moved with age. She was reborn in her true form. Daniel could not speak. His throat felt dry, his mind screamed at him to run, but his body stayed frozen, trapped by her presence. She turned toward him, her smile radiant and sharp at the same time. "You see me now, Daniel," she said. Her voice rang like music but carried thunder beneath it. "This is who I am. This is who I have always been." Daniel stumbled back. You're not real, you can't be real," he gasped. She laughed softly, the sound echoing through the chamber. "Reality bends to me. I am older than the stones beneath your feet. I am worshipped in whispers, feared in silence. I am a demigoddess, child of the ancient flame." Her words pierced him. He wanted to deny it, but every glowing symbol on the walls, every shaking stone and every beat of his heart told him she spoke the truth. Daniel fell to his knees. His body still trembled from the energy she had pushed into him. His veins glowed faintly with silver light. He looked at his hands in horror. "What did you do to me?" She stepped closer, her hand lifted, not frail but strong and graceful. She brushed her fingers against his cheek. Heat surged through him again and he gasped. "I marked you," she whispered. "I gave you a taste of my gift. You carry my sign now and no one can take it away." Daniel shook his head violently. "I didn't ask for this," he shouted. Her smile deepened. "No one asked for destiny," she said calmly, "but it comes for them all the same." The chamber pulsed, symbols blazed brighter, and whispers filled the air. They were not her voice this time, but the voices of the past, echoes of those who once worshipped her. Daniel felt the weight of 1,000 prayers pressing against his soul. "Why me?" he demanded again, his voice cracked. She tilted her head, her golden eyes piercing him. "Because when I was weak, when I was broken, when I was nothing, you gave me kindness. You fed me, you carried my burden, you did not mock me like the others, do you not see? That one act of mercy tied your fate to mine." Daniel's chest tightened, he wanted to argue, but the memory of that day in the market came back. He had acted without thinking, but now that simple choice had bound him to something far greater. The demigoddess turned away, lifting her arms. The altar glowed brighter, the walls shook harder. Outside, the canyon rumbled and winds howled like voices of the dead. "The galaxy has forgotten me," she declared, her voice booming through the ruins. "But they will remember. They will bow again. They will know their goddess has returned." Daniel felt his stomach drop. The thought of entire star systems kneeling to her both terrified and fascinated him. "You can't," he muttered. "The empires won't allow it. They'll fight. You." Her laughter rolled like thunder. "Let them try," she said. "They will come with fire and fleets, but I will break them. And you, Daniel, you will stand with me." Daniel shook his head in disbelief. "I'm just a man, I don't belong in this." She turned back to him, her beauty overwhelming. Her smile softened. "You are more than a man now. My touch has changed you. You feel it, do you not?" Daniel's hands shook, his body still burned with strange energy. He wanted to deny it, but deep inside he knew she was right. Something had changed in him forever. The demigoddess stepped close again, her hand pressed against his chest. The heat grew unbearable. Daniel cried out as his vision filled with stars. He saw fleets shattering, planets bowing, and her, always her, standing above all, and beside her, a figure glowing faintly, a man who looked like him. When the vision ended, he collapsed to the ground, gasping, his strength almost gone. She knelt beside him, her beauty both tender and cruel. She whispered in his ear, "Do not fear, Daniel. This is only the first reward. You will have more. Though each will take from you, each gift has a price." Her words chilled him. "What price?" he asked weakly. She smiled, her eyes blazing. "Your strength, your breath, your life," she said. "But in return, you will be remembered forever, bound to me for eternity." Daniel shivered. His mind screamed at him to refuse, but his body betrayed him. He could not look away. His soul felt caught in her light. The ruins roared one last time, and then silence fell. Dust drifted, and the glow dimmed. Yet the demigoddess still shone. Her power filled the air. The frail alien granny was gone, never to return. Daniel lay on the cold stone, drained and trembling, his fate sealed, for better or worse. He had become part of her return. Daniel could barely move. His body ached as if every bone had been set on fire. His chest rose and fell with ragged breaths. The silver glow under his skin pulsed faintly, like embers waiting to flare. He knew he was still alive, but he felt as if pieces of him had been stolen. The demigoddess stood above him, radiant and calm. Her golden eyes studied him as though he were both precious and fragile. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly. "The gift inside you?" Daniel groaned, his throat dry. "It feels like poison," he whispered. Her smile deepened, both tender and cruel. "Power is never gentle. It carves, it burns, it reshapes. That is the price of reward." Daniel tried to stand, but his legs shook violently. He fell back against the cold stone. "You're draining me," he said, his voice low. "Every time you touch me, you take something from me." She knelt beside him, brushing her fingers along his jaw. Heat surged again, though softer this time. Daniel shivered, unable to resist. "Not take," she whispered. "Exchange. Your strength fuels me, and in return I share with you visions of eternity. It is balance, Daniel, though it may not feel like it now." His head spun. The visions from before still haunted him. The burning skies, the kneeling armies, himself standing beside her like a shadow of her light. It felt too real to dismiss. "I don't want eternity," he said. "I just want my life back." The demigoddess tilted her head, her silver hair cascading like liquid light. "Your life is mine now, Daniel. You gave it the moment you chose to help me." Anger surged in his chest. He pushed her hand away. That wasn't a choice. It was just kindness. She laughed softly. "And yet it bound you tighter than chains. Do not regret kindness, Daniel. It is the purest act, and because of it, you will not be forgotten." Daniel clenched his fists. His body trembled with weakness, but his spirit refused to bow. "If this is a reward, it feels like a curse," he said bitterly. Her smile faded for the first time. A shadow crossed her perfect face. "Perhaps you are right," she admitted quietly. "Every reward carries pain. Every blessing carries weight, but I cannot walk alone. The galaxy will soon rise against me and you. You are my anchor." The chamber grew colder. A low hum echoed outside the ruins. Daniel turned his head sharply. "What is that?" The demigoddess rose, her eyes narrowing. She stretched out her hand and light rippled through the stone walls. Visions appeared, fleets moving through space, empires sending ships, bounty hunters whispering contracts. The galaxy had already learned of her return. "They come," she said, her voice calm but sharp. "They fear me. They want to bury me again. But they will not succeed." Daniel's stomach twisted. He saw the images of countless warships and alien soldiers. He thought of Earth, of humanity caught between powers too great to fight. "You'll drag everyone into war," he said. She looked down at him, her expression unreadable. "War is already here. I am simply the spark." Daniel tried to rise, and this time, with great effort, he stood. His legs shook, his body weak, but he managed to face her. "I'm not your soldier," he said firmly. Her golden eyes softened. "No, you are not. You are something greater. You are my chosen." Daniel shook his head violently. "Chosen to be drained until I'm nothing?" Her hand reached out again, brushing against his chest. He flinched but could not step back. The heat surged and visions poured into him. This time he saw not only war and fire, but also peace, planets healed, children laughing under alien skies. He gasped, falling to one knee. What is this?" he whispered. "The future," she said. "One of many paths. Some are filled with ruin, others with hope. You will see them all, Daniel. But each vision costs you. Each glimpse of eternity takes a piece of your strength." Daniel's hands trembled. He felt weaker than ever, but his mind burned with images too powerful to forget. He wanted to scream, to refuse. Yet part of him could not look away from what she offered. Outside, voices echoed closer. Soldiers moved through the canyon, armed and shouting. The demigoddess turned, her expression sharp and dangerous. "They dare step into my temple," she hissed. Daniel staggered toward her. "Don't fight them. If you do, you'll bring more. You'll bring the whole galaxy down on us." She looked back at him, her eyes blazing. "Let them come. They cannot kill what is eternal, and you, Daniel, will stand with me. For even if you fall, I will not let you go." The walls shook as alien soldiers reached the entrance. Their weapons glowed. Their voices shouted commands. Daniel's heart raced. He looked at the demigoddess beside him, radiant and deadly. He felt his body weak, his life slipping. Yet her hand held him steady. "Stay with me," she whispered. "The price is high, but the reward is forever." Daniel's breath caught. His strength faded. He felt himself slipping again. The silver glow in his veins pulsed brighter. as if his life was being drawn out. He realized now that her reward was not one he could escape, not one he could return. The soldiers stormed into the hall, but they froze. Their eyes widened, some dropped their weapons, others fell to their knees. The demigoddess stood tall, her light blinding. Her voice thundered, "I have returned, and none shall take what is mine." Daniel collapsed to the ground, drained almost to nothing, his vision blurred. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was her radiant figure standing over him, shielding him with power beyond comprehension. The soldiers who had stormed the ruins never stood a chance. The moment their eyes fell on her, their courage melted. Some tried to fire, but their weapons burned in their hands. Others dropped too, their knees trembling. They whispered her name as if it had been carved into their memories all along. Daniel lay weak on the floor. His body shivered, his veins glowing faintly with silver light. He could barely lift his head, but he saw it clearly. The demigoddess standing in her true form, radiant, terrifying, untouchable. She did not even raise her hand, yet the air itself bent around her. The soldiers fled, stumbling over one another. Their screams echoed through the canyon as they ran back to their commanders, carrying tales of the goddess who had risen again. Within hours, those whispers spread across the stars, on distant planets. Alien leaders gathered in panic in cold council chambers. Empires debated furiously. Some wanted to send fleets immediately to crush her before she grew stronger. Others argued that to challenge her would mean destruction. In dark corners, mercenaries and bounty hunters took contracts with promises of riches beyond measure. The galaxy trembled, for the return of an ancient power was not just rumor now, it was truth. Daniel woke inside a chamber of the ruins, his body wrapped in a faint silver aura. He gasped as he sat up, pain rushing through him. The demigoddess stood nearby, watching, her expression unreadable. "You live," she said softly. "I did not let you fall." Daniel touched his chest. His heart still beat, though weaker than before. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why not choose someone stronger?" She walked toward him, her steps graceful. "Because strength without heart is hollow. You are different, Daniel. You saw me as more than dust. That is why the galaxy will see you as my chosen." Daniel shook his head. "They don't see me as chosen. They see me as cursed. I can feel it. Every vision you give me takes more from me. My life is bleeding away." Her golden eyes softened for a moment. "Yes, each gift drains you. That is the law of my power, but in your weakness I will make you eternal." Daniel's fists clenched. "Eternal? I don't want to be eternal. I want to live my own life." Her smile returned, sharp and dangerous. "Your life is no longer your own, Daniel. It belongs to me, and through me, to the stars." Outside, a roar shook the ruins. Daniel staggered. To his feet, the demigoddess stepped outside first. Daniel followed, weak but unwilling to be left behind. Above the canyon, the sky burned with the glow of warships. Dozens of vessels hovered, their weapons aimed at the ruins. The fleets of 3 different empires had arrived. Daniel's stomach dropped. "They came faster than I thought," he muttered. The demigoddess raised her arms. Her voice thundered through the air. "Do you think metal and fire can end me? Do you think fleets can chain a goddess?" The ships above shuddered as her power surged. Energy waves rippled, knocking them off balance. Weapons overheated, engines failed. Some ships fled immediately, breaking formation in terror. Daniel covered, his face from the blinding light. His body trembled as he felt her energy wash over him again. More visions struck him. Burning fleets, collapsing cities, galaxies bowing before her name. His body convulsed as the power tore through him. "Stop," he gasped. "You'll kill me." Her voice echoed in his head, both gentle and commanding. "No, Daniel. You will endure. You are mine, and you will not fall until I say so." From orbit, commanders sent desperate messages. "Contain her," they shouted. "Do not let her leave the planet." Armies mobilized across nearby worlds, more fleets were called, more hunters prepared. The galaxy no longer whispered. It screamed. Daniel stumbled to her side. His voice cracked. They'll never stop. You've made yourself their enemy. You've made us both their enemy. The demigoddess looked at him, her eyes burning. Then, let them come. Every empire, every soldier, every fleet. They will learn what it means to challenge me. Daniel wanted to scream, but his voice failed. He looked at the glowing lines running under his skin. They pulsed faster now, each throb stealing strength from his body. He realized the truth. Every battle she fought would drain him further. He sank to his knees, gasping. I can't survive this. She bent down, her hand on his shoulder. Her touch sent warmth and fire into his body. You will survive, Daniel, because I will not let you die. You are too important. You are my bond to the living, my bridge to the mortal. Without you, I am incomplete. Tears burned Daniel's eyes. He did not want to be her bridge, her anchor, her chosen. But deep inside, he knew he could not break free. Above, more ships arrived. The sky filled with steel. The ground shook with the landing of armies. The ruins became the heart of a storm that would soon spread to the entire galaxy. The demigoddess rose to her full height, her radiance brighter than ever. She looked at the gathering fleets and armies as if they were ants. Her voice carried across the stars. I have returned. I claim what was denied. And this human is mine. Daniel collapsed again, drained. His body a shell of what it once was, his vision blurred. The last thing he saw was her standing tall, her light defying the galaxy. And he realized that his fate was sealed. No matter how much he fought, no matter how much he resisted, he was bound to her. And as the galaxy trembled, Daniel understood that her reward was a chain he could never break. The sky above the ruins glowed with fire. Warships from 3 empires circled like hungry predators. Armies marched into the canyon, their weapons ready. The ground shook with the weight of machines. The galaxy had come to crush the demigoddess before her power could spread. Daniel lay weak on the stone floor, his body barely able to move. The silver glow under his skin pulsed faintly. Slower than before, each breath felt like a battle, each heartbeat like a dying drum. He knew he could not survive much longer if this continued. The demigoddess stood tall, radiant as a sun. Her golden eyes scanned the fleets above and the soldiers below. She looked neither afraid nor angry. Instead, she looked eager, her lips curved into a smile. They think they are hunters, she said softly. But they are prey. Daniel forced himself to speak. His voice cracked. If you fight them, more will come. You'll burn the galaxy, and me with it. She turned to him, her expression softer for a moment. You are already burning, Daniel. Every gift I give you drains you, yet without me, you would already be gone. He clenched his teeth. That's not a gift, that's a curse. Her eyes flashed. No, it is eternity, and eternity is never free. The armies shouted commands. Lights flickered on weapons. Fleets above charged their cannons. The canyon glowed with energy ready to strike. Daniel's heart raced. He knew what was about to happen. He knew that if she unleashed her full power, he would be the one to pay the price. The demigoddess lifted her hands. The air shook. The ruins roared. As ancient energy awakened, soldiers froze in terror. Some dropped to their knees, others ran. Warships trembled as their systems overloaded. The very sky seemed to bend. Daniel screamed. His veins blazed with silver fire. His body arched in agony. He felt his life spilling out of him like water from a broken vessel. Visions crashed into his mind. Worlds collapsing, fleets burning, her voice echoing forever. Stop, he gasped. Please, you're killing me. She turned to him, her eyes burning with both fury and sorrow. You will not die, Daniel. You cannot die. You belong to me. Her power poured into the air, yet it flowed through him as well. His body shook violently. His strength bled away. But a strange new light filled his soul. He was not only being drained, he was being remade. The armies broke, warships retreated. Their commanders screamed for order, but terror spread faster than commands. In moments, fleets scattered, soldiers fled the canyon, and silence fell again. Daniel collapsed, barely breathing, his vision blurred, his body weak as glass. The silver glow under his skin dimmed to almost nothing. He thought it was the end. He thought he had finally been drained beyond return. The demigoddess knelt beside him. Her hand hovered above his chest, her face unreadable. "Do you wish to live?" she asked. Daniel coughed, his voice raw. "I don't know anymore." She leaned closer, her words soft but sharp. "Life as a mortal is over for you, Daniel. You cannot return to what you were, but I offer you more. Stand beside me, not as human, not as weak flesh, but as eternal." His mind screamed against it. His heart longed for freedom. Yet deep inside, he knew he had no choice. His body was already bound, his soul already marked. Her power had burned itself into his veins. He could not escape. Daniel's lips trembled. "And if I refuse?" Her smile curved sadly. "Then you fade. Your body will break and you will be forgotten. Is that what you want?" He closed his eyes. The memory of Earth flickered. His small ship, the markets, the moment he had first seen her bent and frail. He had chosen kindness then, and that single act had brought him here. Now he faced the last choice of his life. With a trembling breath, he whispered, "I accept." The demigoddess pressed her hand to his chest. The silver glow erupted, blazing through his body. He cried out, his voice echoing across the canyon. His veins shone brighter, his heart hammered with impossible force. His body broke and rebuilt. At the same time, when the light faded, Daniel lay still. His chest rose slowly. His skin shimmered faintly, his eyes opened. No longer only human, but glowing faintly with the same golden fire as hers. The demigoddess smiled, relief and triumph mixing in her gaze. "Now you are mine, not for a day, not for a lifetime, but forever." Daniel sat up slowly. His body felt light yet heavy, strong yet fragile. He looked at his hands, glowing faintly. He whispered, "What have I become?" Her voice was soft, almost tender. "You are eternal, you are my chosen, my anchor, my companion. Together we will shape the galaxy." Daniel's heart ached. He knew his old life was gone. He would never again be the man he once was. The kindness that bound him had become a chain of eternity. He looked at her, radiant and beautiful, terrifying and endless, and he understood. Her reward had left him drained, but it had also remade him. As the dust settled and the galaxy whispered in fear, Daniel stood at her side. His fate sealed. His humanity forever changed. He was no longer only a man. He was something more, something eternal, bound forever to a goddess who had risen from the dust. And as her golden eyes blazed across the stars, Daniel realized the truth. He had not saved an old alien granny that day in the market. He had awakened a demigoddess, and in return, she had taken his life and turned it into eternity.